Hey guys, Kgabo here, and today we're back with another episode of Rasslin and Logic. And today we're gonna review AEW Winter is Coming. I know they did another show after that, which we will talk about some of the moments that happened on there. But first, we got a bit of news. I don't know if it's so much news by now because it's been a couple of weeks. But gonna start off with a guy named Hannibal who apparently did some stuff to some people. I'm trying to see what he's done.
Kgabo is just searching for the information here.
Yeah. So apparently he stabbed a referee.
What?
Yeah, in the head.
Why?
I don't know. So, wrestler Hannibal responds after brutally stabbing referee in head with iron spike in horrific scenes, and it looks like he bit his head.
Why?
I don't know. Wrestler Hannibal has responded after stabbing a referee and leaving him needing staples in his skull. The wrestler, whose real name is Devin Nicholson, was facing former WWE star Carlito at a world-class pro wrestling event in Irving, Texas over the weekend when things went badly wrong. Using the stage name The Blood Hunter, Nicholson won the bout and then was seen in footage shared on social media, striking referee Lando Del Toro with what seemed to be an iron spike from the ring. The official, who was left bloody by the brutal attack, was pulled out of the ring and rushed to hospital where he received treatment for the head injuries. Del Toro later shared photos of his scars and revealed he was recovering after the incident. He tweeted, "Recovering at home, still a big fuzzy and pain, but I'll live. Thanks for your pouring out of love and support. I'm a firm believer that if you put good out into the world, good will return to you." He later added, "I had heard that I could have said stop at any time. I just wanted to say that it's very hard to talk when there's a 300-pound man's knee on your back and then being put in a chokehold while being stabbed repeatedly in the head with an iron spike, passed out shortly after." Meanwhile, Hannibal, who has over 300,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, has responded to the claims and insisted Del Toro was hired to bleed and could have stopped the attack himself. He said in video, "The referee was supposed to bleed from razor blade cuts. I assume he actually cut himself with the razor blades. Gave no indication to me, and you people can watch the footage. Zero indication to me in the ring that he wasn't just selling and was legitimately hurt." Meanwhile, WCBW CEO Jerry Bostic has said in his own video statement that Hannibal has been banned from the company's events in the future. He said, "World-class moving forward will not be associated with Devin Nicholson. I cannot and will not condone what happened last night." Damn. So what do you think about this whole situation?
That's not cool, as Carlito would say.
Yeah. Not at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, that is not. accepted at all. Like, that is absolute bullshit. And that, to me, is not a spot gone wrong. That was, from the way you read it and from the description of the scene, it just seemed
Intentional.
deliberate.
Intentional.
Yeah, deliberate, yes. And what I'm thinking here, pondering the question, why would he go out of his way to do that? Like, why? Like, what vendetta or what angst did he have to push violence against the referee for? Like, why? What is the point?
I'm not sure.
It's morally wrong. Like, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you forgot to mention that we are on season 2 now.
No, not yet. This is a bonus episode. The Christmas special. Even though we're late, we should have released it.
Scratch that then.
Yeah. Season 2 will start in January next year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was me and Rel Sucker.
Hannibal is an asshole, and he should not get away with what he did lightly.
Yeah. And you should see the pictures. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna send this picture to you real quick.
Are they gruesome?
It's quite bad. He's got multiple stitches in his head.
I would imagine so, yes.
Yeah. Let me drop it in your inbox. Oh man, why does it do that?
I mean, I'm just thinking of the pain that he had to go through. I mean, he didn't deserve that, right?
No.
No. Oh, I don't know.
I'm sending it to you. Look at that.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's probably going to have a few scars now for the rest of his life because of that.
Yeah. Being kneeled on, put in a chokehold, and stabbed multiple times. Like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
If he wanted heel heat, well, he's got fucking real life heel heat now.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of heat that one would want.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, but he's got it. That's his own fault.
Yeah.
For being a dumbass.
Yeah. And now we have some more news. An NXT 2.0 superstar, Cora Jade, roasted Darby Allin on social media a couple days ago. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So this is from We Got This Covered. Professional wrestlers Cora Jade and Darby Allin traded barbs on Twitter on December 17th. Both eventually deleted the tweets, but not before the exchange went viral. It all started when Allin shared a video of himself skating, and someone else on the platform said he should do a skateboarding match with Cora Jade. Jade regularly incorporates a skateboard into her entrances and wrestling, so the question made sense. Jade is a 20-year-old WWE up-and-comer, and Allin is 28 and has been in the industry since 2015 when he wrestled in the independent circuit. Allin apparently thinks that Jade is a fake skater because he responded to the idea of a skating match with the following statement: "Skating is a huge part of my life, not a fake character for TV, lol," he said, ostensibly saying that Jade was just a character and not a real wrestler. This didn't sit well with Jade, who clapped back pretty hard but then also deleted the tweet. "Being a good person with no abuse allegations against me is a huge part of my life and not just a character I play on TV." And then there are screenshots of it. Here is where things get a little weightier. In June of 2020, during the Speaking Out movement, a Twitter user named Holly Cromwell said she was abused by an unnamed person who would treat me like his punching bag. Here's a quote from her. He would also threaten to leave me if I didn't have sex with him and do sexual things and perform sex acts with him. It took me a long time to realize that threatening someone to have sex with you isn't consent, it's rape. I struggle with this to this day and have so many fears around sex and around intimacy. In August of that year, Cromwell named Darby as her abuser. I'm tired. I'm so effing tired, and I don't care anymore. Darby Allin abused me. He abused me, and I'm tired of being called a liar by fans who have no idea the shitty person he really is. Somehow no one remembers. I'll never forget how you treated me like crap. Cromwell also shared a message she got from Allen's ex, Gigi Dolan. You should really delete that tweet. I know you didn't name names, but however, it's not hard to figure out who are you referring to. Let me get personal here. I was sexually assaulted when I was younger. I cannot stomach the thought of being in the same room as that person, let alone attempting to befriend their wife as you did with me. There's much more context than you are letting on, and it's not right to potentially bury someone with lack of context and information just to gain sympathy for yourself or relevancy. It may have been a bad relationship, but there's no room for you to make statements considering it to be rape. And then we've got a number here for if you know someone suffering from sexual violence. It's a American number, but maybe you can go and look up some numbers in your country if someone has abused you. And let me just say, I'm not for sexual assault. I'm very much against it. We've got a big problem with that here in this country, and pretty much all over the world, and it's not a nice thing to do. It's not a nice thing to experience. And yeah, but on the context of this little battle, is these guys took it quite far and roasted each other. So what do you think about this whole situation?
Well, sexual allegations are never to be laughed at. You know, they should always be taken seriously, whether true or not. I'm not happy with knowing that has happened. It's very much not in the right, is what I reckon. But I don't really have much to say apart from, anybody who is under that situation, shouldn't be in that situation, period,
Yeah.
And also, I do recognise that in South Africa, where you are from, Kgabo, that there are any situations where situations like this
not
occurring.
In fact, even worse, like literally women getting beaten up and killed, and not just raped
up as well.
Yeah.
Because I signed a few change.org petitions that you sent me and stuff.
Yeah.
Because those issues aren't to be taken lightly. Like you have to be all in. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I remember, and this reminds me now of the Sammy Guevara and Sasha Banks rape joke situation that he did a while back, and he got punished for that. But if Darby's going to get given a free pass, then that's no. That's not right.
They punished Sammy, but they didn't punish Darby for doing the same thing, or even worse. Actually abusing someone. Whereas Sammy was just making a joke. Not that I condone those type of jokes, but Darby was actually in the act and not just joking about it or threatening to do it.
Yeah, so why isn't any punishment basically is the word that's coming to mind. Why isn't he being punished? I mean, I just don't understand really, because if it was me, he would be out the door. But
and speaking of Sammy Guevara, Sammy Guevara and his fiancé Pam broke up after 8 years together, and they just got engaged, which sucks. I liked them a lot together when I used to watch his vlogs. This is from Sportskeeda. AEW star Sammy Guevara and his long-term fiancée Pam Nizio have announced their breakup. Talking to Twitter, the reigning TNT champion released a statement on behalf of the couple. In the statement, the pairing thanked all their fans for showcasing their love and support over the years. Sammy Guevara and Pam Nizio decided that it would be best to share the information with the fans, as they have given the couple so much support. The statement also read that Guevara and Nizio have mutual respect towards one another, and concluded by asking fans to showcase their kindness and respect for privacy at this time. Check out Sammy Guevara's tweet below and the statement he and Pam Nizio put out together. I know a lot of you have supported us for a long time, and we have appreciated so much over the past several years. Since you've all given us so much love and support, we figured we owed it to y'all to let you know that we are no longer in a relationship. We still love each other and wish nothing but the best for one another. We appreciate your kindness and respect to our privacy during this time. Sam and Pam. Back in August, Sammy Guevara proposed to Pam Nizio before AEW Dynamite went on air. The couple were at the center of massive headlines late in the night when the reigning TNT champion was victorious over Shawn Spears. Guevara and Nizio started dating back in 2013. This past February, the pair celebrated 8 years together. Yeah. And apparently Cody Rhodes beat Sammy for the TNT championship. Like, oh my gosh.
What's that?
I think that was his latest episode.
Okay, because I was going to ask if that took place on a taping or something, but
yeah.
What does Cody Rhodes gain by reclaiming the TNT championship? Which, by the way, that championship is a load of bullshit, but I won't get into that right now. But yeah, what does Cody Rhodes gain by winning the mid-card championship that he's already won, like, once or twice prior to now?
Yeah, and he shut himself out of winning the AEW championship. He might as well go and break that rule now.
Well, that was his fault for putting him... I mean, speak English, Josh, come on. That was his fault for putting himself in that position to begin with, because apparently he wanted to prove he wasn't in it for himself, as people were claiming him to be, because of his authority position. And then he went out and had that stipulation against Chris Jericho, which he lost.
Yeah.
Mainly because of MJF.
Yeah.
Which hopefully they'll get around to that at some point, because they haven't resolved that storyline there properly. So yeah, he put himself in that position, so it's fucked.
Yeah, man. And
if he does
actually,
that rule, I'm going to be pissed off.
Yeah. And speaking of TNT Championship, yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the death of former TNT champion Brody Lee. I don't know if I've shared my thoughts on this yet, but I thought he was pretty good when he was there. He seemed like a very, very nice person, a good father, good husband, good friend. And yeah, it sucks that he died. I wish he lived a little longer. I wish that he got to come back for the post-COVID AEW that we've got now. And thinking back to it now, that empty arena era sucked really bad. It was horrible. Like, who would want to sit down and watch that? But I'm glad it's over. We've got fans back. And yeah. So rest in peace, Brody Lee.
Yeah. I really liked him as Luke Harper in WWE, but they never... Look, I don't want to... Fuck it. Yes, I will. They never used him in the way that he should have been used. I mean, he was basically the punching bag of the Wyatt family. I mean, well, when Bray Wyatt was in that feud with Randy Orton, for instance, going into WrestleMania 33 into 2017, why wasn't that turned into a triple threat with Luke Harper getting involved? I mean... They didn't see any value in him apart from being Bray Wyatt's punching bag. So much missed potential.
Yeah.
And then finally he was set free, even though some people take that set free term way too seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, but he was.
Like the hardcore WWE fans don't like that.
Yeah, well, no. And then he finally got his moment in AEW to shine in the way that he should have done all that time.
Yeah.
In WWE. And then he fucking dies too young. And then...
Yeah.
That's such a shame.
And what's even more of a shame, he did all this in front of nobody. In those empty crowds.
Yeah?
Almost nobody. There were a few people there, but still.
Oh, the wrestlers were pretending to be the crowd fans. For the most part.
Yeah.
That was a load of bullshit, but... No. It's a tragedy that we lost him way too soon.
And right after Christmas. Yeah.
And then they changed the TNT Championship to a new design, even though it wasn't new. All they did was change the fucking colors. But you know, whatever.
And then they changed it white when Miro had it. Yeah.
Look, I'm personally not a fan of that championship anyway, but I won't get into that right now.
Because you might end up breaking your hand punching that wall. Why don't you just give us a little rant? Because it's almost the first anniversary of that rant you did.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I mean, the TNT Championship doesn't represent AEW at all in the slightest. There's nothing in that company that is represented by the championship that is the TNT Championship. It's ridiculous. They named it after the fucking cable company that is airing their crap. I mean, aren't they having like a fucking TBS championship for the fucking women on Rampage or whatever it is? What's that got to do with the actual programming? Fuck all. Waste of a fucking championship. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Speaking of the TBS Championship, if you look at the TBS logo, it kind of looks like it's saying hose. So I don't know if that's the perfect name for a championship in any case, because it looks like you're calling all the women hoes. Yeah.
Yeah, well. Oh. Yes. I don't mean to say this in a negative way. People might think that I am. I just want to get this across that I'm not trying to. But if I am, then well. The Owen Hart Memorial tournament.
Yeah.
Why is it happening? I don't support it.
Okay.
I don't understand what the purpose of it is. What does the winner see? Is the winner one who has the most honor and respect for Owen Hart compared to all the others who lost? I mean, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah.
I understand that they're wanting to honor his death. I completely understand. What does the winner effectively get out of this? Like, what is the point?
Yeah. Well, back to Sammy Guevara. People are suspecting that Ty Conti had something to do with it. Because she would also hang out with them, with Sammy. So now people went and dogpiled on her on Twitter, and which led her to delete her Twitter. Jesus. And it's a real problem. This it happens all over sports, even in racing. When a driver gets cheated out, the guy who cheated him out gets all this abuse. I hope you died. You ruined that guy's race. Like multiple victims in racing of this online abuse. And back in July, the England lost the Euros, and then 3 black guys who were playing got abused, and all these niggers have cost us the Euros. All you niggas, and all these racist abuse to the players. Like if you have that much hate for somebody, then go get a punching bag and take out all your anger on that, not on these real people.
Yeah, I mean, there's usually a lot of hate being spewed, being a fan of a football team here in the UK. Like, you have to pick a side, and if you're not on the side that somebody wants you to be on, then you're basically at war at that point. It's ridiculous. I just don't understand why this is like a thing. Why can't we just accept, okay, you're a fan of this team, I'm a fan of this team. May the best team win. Shake hands. There we go. Like, why is there such like a? Oh fuck you! Like, why?
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
I understand it, but with me, you gotta like somebody in there. No, I'm not saying you have to, but I think it would just be better, just to support somebody like I did with Max Verstappen. I supported him the whole year, last year and this year, and then he finally won, and I was crying after that. I was so happy, and
yeah. And that's great, But what I'm trying to get at here is that somebody who isn't in support of the one who you're supporting, they will attack you for your support of the one you are supporting.
Yeah.
That is something I don't support.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of support being said there, but anyway, I think you get the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why can't there just be like ritual, like I can't think of the word, but I think you understand my point here.
Yeah. So actually, the AEW had their holiday bash, and quite a bit of news came out. But first, we will talk about there was a hateful sign from somebody in the crowd towards Nyla Rose, saying that she's somebody's daddy, because she went from being a man to a woman, and the guy was knocking her for that. So yeah, and they kicked him out. Honestly, I don't know why they even let him in with that sign in the first place. Like, why would you let someone in with a sign like that in the first place, and then kick them out later? Like, why can't, like, the WWE checks for stuff all the time, and if they see something they don't like, they go take that off, they confiscate it, or they make you take something else. So why didn't AEW do the same? I think that's what they need to do as well. If they see any hateful signs, they need to get rid of it immediately before they get in.
Yeah, my theory.
But before I let you speak, I think we should just let trans people be trans people. Let them be. It's their choice. It's not yours. It's not gonna affect you in any way just because they are who they are. So start off with your stupid sign. Anything you want to say?
There was the thought of I've lost my thought there. Oh well. Any other news or?
Well, there is. Kyle O'Reilly made his AEW debut, and there was a photo of him and Bobby Fish and Adam Cole. So we've already got the OG Undisputed Era in AEW now. Some people are saying, "Oh, it's just a rehash of WWE," but still, they were a cool group. They were a cool group of wrestlers, and apparently now Adam Cole is finally going to turn on the Young Bucks. Thank goodness. He's been doing so much BS comedy with them. I'm so glad he's moving away from them. and he's going to reestablish the Undisputed Era, and he's going to be serious now and have good matches. So thank goodness for that. But somebody who's not going to AEW is Kevin Owens. He re-signed with the WWE the day before my birthday, and quite a few people were mad about it. And one guy said, "Oh, he's a fat guy anyway. What's the use? What? Are you that bad at handling rejection? Imagine if a girl said no to that guy who said that message. Like, he would get legitimately mad and say some horrible stuff to her, maybe even attack her. So people need to learn how to handle rejection. Not everybody's going to go to AEW. As much as we may want them to. I think he's fine in the WWE. I don't know what he would do in the... Not that I'm a WWE guy. Let me just make that clear. I'm not on any of these other sides. I have been liking AEW a lot more than before lately, because they got CM Punk, they got all these other big stars that they're getting. But that still doesn't make me an AEW guy. There's still a lot of stuff that they need to fix, like all the comedy and all the other nasty stuff they've got on there. So yeah. What do you think about this?
Okay, one, I have a theory that AEW they don't scan any signs that come in the building. I think they just let the signs come in because they have trust, because they don't want to seem authoritarian like the WWE is, trying to be the opposite of that, which is bullshit. That's what they're claiming to try and do. And secondly, Adam Cole on the Undisputed Era reforming as whatever they're going to be going forward. I think that is fantastic, and I know Harry isn't a fan of them reforming, and he has his right to have that opinion. That is absolutely fine. I'm of the opinion that them reforming is the best for them. Because I don't have this biasy because you were a group in a former company that you can't be that group again in another company. I think that is wrong. I think there should be a follow through with that. I think there should be in terms of law, I think it should all be connected. Like what you've done in another company should be basically linked to what you're doing in this new company.
And a minor little criticism that I have is that Adam and Carl literally had a grueling feud earlier this year. They were beating each other up and having great matches with each other. I don't know if they should really... I hope they at least had a little look at one another. Maybe they're putting it behind them because it was in the WWE. But I think Adam Cole now wants to get his revenge for being killed off of being the Elite, which is a thing that they did before Adam went to the WWE. They killed him off by super kicking him or whatever. So he wants to get revenge for that. I don't care. As long as he's stepping away from them, I'm fine with it. Because it's been way too long that he's been spending with them.
Yes, and the situation, since you've mentioned it here, between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, it needs to be addressed. Because they can't just reform and act like everything is fine.
Yeah, like it never happened.
It needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
It needs to be addressed. And so, like, okay, this happened in this company. I've had some time to clear my mind. I've been away from you for some time now. I'm willing to forgive now.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry for what happened. Let's start a new chapter. I would be okay with that.
Yeah. I know Harry isn't okay with that, but that's his opinion, and that's fine.
Yeah. If you don't know who we're talking about, it's a user on Twitter that we both follow.
Right.
Yeah.
And
he's kind of a hardcore WWE fan, so we have to put up with him a little bit.
You view him as that?
I'm not trying to knock him, but it's just something that I've noticed with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you and I, Kgabo, we're more in the middle. Like we are happy with both, or we're not happy with both.
Actually, I was kind of a hardcore WWE guy earlier this year, but then I realized that and stepped away from it. Blocked some people that were hardcore WWE fans. Like I blocked hardcores on both sides with AEW and WWE. They don't deserve to be on my timeline. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to try to get myself more away from wrestling Twitter, because in general, it's just a mess. It's an absolute cesspool. I don't want to be associated with it anymore. I'm just going to do my own thing.
What I've done.
And look at it for myself. And just speak to who I interact with, who I need to interact with.
Yes, I mean, I cut the wrestling interactions on there, and I've mostly now switched my focus to music and any
other
anything
stuff.
else that comes to mind. Because God's sake, I used to be obsessed with fucking putting out my rants on there, but now I'm like, nah. I think I'm better off not doing that anymore.
Yeah, same with me. I also tweet about music and racing and games and stuff like that. I don't tweet much about wrestling.
A lot more safe.
Yeah. And I don't dive deep into those communities, because I don't want the same thing that happened with wrestling to happen with all those other interests. And some people on wrestling are just borderline stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It keeps me up at night how stupid people can be. So I'm glad I cut that off. Well, I'm in the process of cutting it off. But yeah.
You're going to cut it off completely, or just section it to a narrow field?
I'm leaning towards completely at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll always have this podcast to to speak about it. So
yeah. At least I've got this.
Really. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the news we've got. 45 minutes of news.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if I forgot something else, but no, that's it. So let's get to the meat of the matter, which is AEW Dynamite Winter is coming on December the 15th, 2021. And this is what they've cooked up for me on my birthday. And it's alright. It's alright. At the Curtis Caldwell Center in Garland, Texas, United States of America. With the first match being for the AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan, versus Hangman Adam Page, the AEW World Championship. Danielson comes back, followed by the champion, which is important for you because you are very strict about that. The champions coming out last. And then Justin Roberts announced all wrestlers. And the match started. They stared each other down. They locked up. They locked up again. Danielson did a hammerlock. Hangman got a wrist lock. Bryan Danielson got a waist lock. Hangman got a shoulder tackle. I don't know why I said Danielson was taunting. I guess he was like taunting him like, hey, ha, 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 you can't get rid of. They lock up again. They try to pin each other. Hangman gives Danielson a boot. Danielson puts in a wrist lock. Hangman gives him a body slam. Danielson gets a dragon sleeper. He chops Hangman, headbutts, shoots him off, then chops him. Hangman chops Danielson back. They trade chops. Hangman punches Danielson in the corner. Danielson's working the leg. Then he gets a 60-40 split. He gives Hangman some body shots. Gives him an uppercut. Then Hangman gives Danielson a kick. He gets sent to the outside. Gives him a big boot. Clothesline. Did a dive. Then they laid down selling. Bryan Danielson, Hangman, gives him a kitchen sink, a kick, a catapult, 2 uppercuts, diving knee. It sounds like I'm ordering from a drive-through right now. Then they go to the break. We get back from the break. Hangman does a back suplex. He gives him a chop, an elbow strike, fall away slam. Gives him chops in the corner, jumping clothesline, moonsault onto the outside. Hangman does a Death Valley driver using chops, gets on top of the turnbuckle, misses a moonsault. Danielson gets a near fall, gives him body shots. Hangman does a roll up, 2 count. Danielson does an ankle lock, kicks him, gives him knee drops, chops, drop kicks. Hangman gives Danielson the pop-up power bomb for a near fall. He goes for the buckshot lariat, but Danielson rolls out of the ring. Hangman gives Danielson a baseball slide drop kick, goes for a moonsault, but then Danielson pushes him off. They fight on the outside. Danielson taunts in the ring. They go to the break again. They get back to the break, and Hangman is bleeding now. Danielson gives him a baseball slide drop kick, flying knee, punches in the corner, working Hangman's arm, gives him a knee strike, German suplex for a 2 count. Danielson kicks him on the apron. Hangman slams Danielson into the ring post. Fight on the outside. Hangman gives Danielson a figure 4 submission. He gets a rope break. Then they go to the break again. We get back to the break, and Danielson gives Hangman an enziguri, gives him uppercuts, an armbar, triangle sleeper. Hangman gets a power bomb, a rope break. Danielson kicks him. Hangman gets a tombstone pile driver, gives him 3 chops. I don't know about the tombstone. That's Undertaker's finisher. But unlike AJ Styles, whose finish was used by Will Ospreay as just a regular move back in January, whose match I gave a 0 out of 10. That was the first 0 I've given to anybody. Undertaker's retired, so I guess it gets a little bit of a pass because Undertaker's retired now. But it was still Undertaker's finish. So Danielson does a knee drop on Hangman's bad arm. He gives him a German suplex for a 2 count, gives him a back superplex. Hangman does a deadeye on the apron, misses a dive onto the table. They go back to the break. Hangman gets a German suplex on Danielson. Danielson kicks him. Punt kicks Hangman's bad arm. He punches him in the corner. Tries to hit a back superplex, but Hangman lands on his feet. He gets a lariat. They both lay down selling. They do a 1-2. Danielson headbutts him, tries to hit a suplex, but then Hangman gives a rolling elbow. Why can't people just throw actual punches? I mean, they did in this match, but they don't like to when it matters. They just go for these elbow strike and these horrible forearms. Like, why not like God gave you these for a reason to knock people. Well, maybe that's not what they were intended for, but still, you got knuckles. Use them. But where was I now? Danielson kicks him, tries to pin him, stomps him on the face. Hangman hits a deadeye for a near fall. Says the F word on live television. He stomps on Danielson, misses a buckshot lariat. Danielson gets the label lock. Hangman did a catapult. Finally hit a lariat, and then finally hit his buckshot lariat, but he ran out of time for an hour draw, and that was probably the first hour Broadway in a long time, many years. And Rasslin got a 9 from me, and Logic a 7. What do you think about this? So sorry about that. As always, OBS cut off just as we finished recording the Danielson versus Hangman segment. We talked about the Superkliq segment. It was goofy. Talked about Wardlow versus Shawn Spears. We talked about Serena Deeb versus what's her name? Hikaru Shida. And then now we've got an interview with the Varsity Blondes. And Griff Garrison is mad at Malakai Black for attacking Julia Hart a couple weeks ago. And then Eddie Kingston cut a promo, and as always, it's good, but I don't care about the subject matter. And then the main event, we have the Dynamite Diamond Ring Decider with MJF versus Dante Martin. MJF cut a great promo on the town, and he cut a promo on CM Punk. It was good. This feud is so good. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the best thing on AEW. And then Dante Martin makes his entrance, and he's furious. And then they started the match. MJF was stalling. He stomped on Dante, did the flare strut. He gave him a shoulder tackle. Martin did a monkey flip. He did a flipping knee drop. MJF rolled out of the ring. Martin tried to do a dive, but then MJF moved out of the way. He tried to hit the nosedive, but gets sent into the barricade. They fight on the outside. MJF argues with a fan. They go to the break. We come back from the break, and Martin does a victory roll for a 2 count. MJF hits a power bomb. They do a rope break. Martin does a flying drop kick. He lays down selling. Martin does a dive. He hits another dive. MJF rolls out of the ring again. And then we get yet another dive from Dante Martin. Then we did a botched shooting star press. MJF stalls again. Dante Martin did some punches. He did a leg lariat. They do numerous pin attempts, which look goofy. They were doing it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and I didn't like that, so I minus points for that. Then MJF did a Liger bomb for a 2 count. He flipped off the crowd. Dante Martin finally hit his nosedive. Ricky Starks helped MJF get the rope break. And then MJF got a Fujiwara armbar for the win. Then FTR came out and celebrated with MJF. So apparently the Pinnacle is still a thing. Then the lights go out. And then Sting and Darby Allin attack FTR. And the people are chanting CM Punk. And then people go crazy. He's here. It's so good. He's over. And the people go crazy when he comes out. And it's like Stone Cold when he would come out. The people would go crazy. And then he threatened MJF and FTR with a baseball bat. And which set up a 6-man tag with Punk, Sting, and Darby versus MJF and FTR. So I gave Rasslin 5 and Logic a 3, and overall I gave Rasslin 7 and Logic a 5. What did you think about that match and this show?
Why is the MJF match or a ring that has no value to anything main eventing over the AEW Championship, which is supposed to be the most valuable thing in the entire company? I understand. Oh, fuck you guys. I understand why trying to take the spotlight away from me. Yeah, I get it. I understand having the match at the start because they want to give the illusion that the match can go on for as long as possible. Because if they have it as the main event slot, as it usually would be, then it would basically be a giveaway for how long it would be. So I understand why they put it at the start, but at the same time, having the AEW Championship not be in the main event, especially when in the actual main event it's a match for a fucking ring, and that is embarrassing. And yes, that rhymes. Don't hit the player, hit the game. Errol Magnus. Yeah, I don't understand what the ring is for. I will say about the CM Punk, is the best in the world at what he does. Fuck you, Chris Jericho.
Ditto.
I have always been a fan of CM Punk. CM Punk got me to become straight edge. That is how inspirational he was to me when I was growing up as a young teenager. That is how much he inspired me. But yes, I love CM
Punk. And he's also quite inspirational to me. It actually got me to really think about becoming a wrestler one day, but there's no chance of that. I'm 5'4", 140 pounds. I don't even go to the gym, so yeah, it probably won't be worth it. Like, if I'm gonna do this, I want to be on the top, not just as a hobby, but yeah, it's clearly not happening. I'm glad I stopped thinking about it. Kind of, because I'd have to deal with all the BS, get put into comedy or whatever, all this nasty stuff.
The politics.
Yeah. So maybe not. So I think I'll just be fine being a fan, or not even a full-time fan, but part-time, because I don't have any time for it, and even when I do have time, I don't really have any reason to watch it, because there's always going to be something funny on there, stupid, and like I don't have any motive to watch this stuff anymore. I'll only watch it.
Invest in.
Yeah, I'll only watch it for the podcast's sake, to review it. You know, I'll look at CM Punk and whatever he does, but that's it.
And I will be surprised if by the end of 2022, CM Punk isn't the AEW champion. I will be surprised.
Well, I don't really think he needs the AEW championship. It would be nice if he won it, but I don't think he needs it right now. He's really good on his own.
I'm not saying he does need it. I'm just saying I would be surprised if he doesn't. Because he seems to be on the trajectory that he's basically going to at some point.
I mean, he probably should at some point. You know.
I mean, if he doesn't, then that is fine. I'm not against it. It's just that he seems to be on the track to becoming that at some point.
Yeah.
Fucking phone.
Yeah. What do you think overall about the show?
Well, as always, the logic isn't usually there, and it wasn't really here. The referee and the leniency is still prevalent to this day. Even though I kept ranting about it all fucking year, nothing changes. It's all the same thing. It's all the same crap.
Yeah. Well, that
also,
was...
you know, the match order wasn't there. What a mess.
Yeah,
and then the fucking no selling and Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's it.
I don't mean to be negative, but there just isn't much positive on the way that I perceive it, because they don't really give any reason for me to see it in that light. I just
yeah. Well, that was a bonus episode of Rasslin and Logic, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, even with the technical difficulties. We will be back next year with Rel Sucker, depending on if he's available. We will make our season premiere on January the 1st, Saturday, but the day before, Friday the 31st of December, Josh will be premiering the first ever episode of Life's Opening Radio. He's been hyping this up since October, and I bet he's done a lot of preparation for it, and yeah. And I hope you guys will enjoy it, and I hope I will enjoy it, because I will also listen to it and support him as a friend, support his podcast and try as best as possible to listen to it. And if Rosa is not available, then maybe Josh can make another return to the podcast and help me kickstart season 2 of Rasslin and Logic, which will come out next year. But until then, this is Kgabo and Josh Jenkins on behalf of Rel Sucker. Signing out.